Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City is the reboot that a lot of fans had been waiting for since the Paul W.S. Anderson films kind of got so out there. I really liked the original Resident Evil that he made. And then the first sequel, I was like, okay, that was alright. And then from there, they just kind of got dumber and dumber. But eventually, Kaylee and I plan on playing through all the Resident Evil games. I do own them all now. And I meant to do this because I started playing Resident Evil 0. And I was gonna do a review on it, but I didn't finish it. But I'm going to eventually get to that. And once we do that, then we're going to do a run through of all 6 Resident Evil films from the original Paul W.S. Anderson series. And then we'll probably revisit this one and do spoiler discussions on all of those. Mm-hmm. And I'm currently not looking forward to some of those reviews for sure. And unfortunately, this is going to be one of those. But I hope after we play the video games. Now, for context here, I have played Resident Evil 0, Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, some of 4, 5, some of 6, 7, some of 7. I played Code Veronica. I've played Operation Raccoon City. And I played some of Outbreak Files or whatever. So I've played a lot of them, not 100% of them, but I do have every one available on PlayStation 4, and I'm going to replay through them, and the remakes of 2 and 3, which I'm really looking forward to because 2 and 3 rule. But you've played 0 Resident Evil games.
Part of 7.
Oh, right. That's right.
A little bit of it, but I haven't finished it. So.
Which is nothing like this stuff.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I was terrified of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nothing about well, I don't know. I mean, it must link into Umbrella.
Oh, I'm sure
right?
somewhere
But I don't
along the
know.
way.
I don't know hardly anything about the lore of Resident Evil, so.
I'm not sure it's real firm.
Yeah.
Maybe it is, but a lot of video games just kind of ignore previous entries, depending. If it's a Naughty Dog franchise, like Uncharted or The Last of Us, everything is very much, canon from the last entries. But then other games can just be well, I know we said that here, but whatever. Let's just completely ignore that here. But anyway, so Raccoon City, Welcome to Raccoon City, is a film that was directed by Johannes Roberts, who I was looking forward to seeing what he would do with this, because they were talking about bringing it back to the roots of the games, setting it in the Spencer Mansion and at the Raccoon City Police Department, where the first and second games are set, and they were basically going to be doing a blend of the first 2 games in one film. And I was like, okay, that's cool. I definitely want Resident Evil to be more of a horror survival movie, because it's a horror survival game. I don't need it to be some big action franchise, because it's not an action game. It's a horror survival game. It's slower, and it's all about conserving your ammo and making sure you don't get really hurt, because you can only heal yourself, so infrequently.
Is it?
Jesus. So I was really, really excited about that, because, as I said, the other series kind of just got so out of control. Mm-hmm. And then the trailer dropped, and I saw that it was going to have the Renfields, and it was going to have Jill Valentine, and it was going to have Leon Kennedy, and it was going to have very familiar faces from the games. Now, I was looking at some of the castings, and it was these guys don't look like their characters, which is fine. It doesn't need to be, right? To me, the performance is more important, and maybe character portrayal, but maybe with a little bit of your own flavor towards it, is a good thing. So you don't have to look exact, right? This isn't going to be Hugh Jackman and Ellen Page playing Joel and Ellie in The Last of Us like 10, 15 years ago, right? Because that would have been perfect. They would look exactly like their characters. But, now it's two other actors, and hopefully they nail their roles. So it doesn't really matter. But, some of them don't look like them, and some do. Like Claire Renfield looks a lot like, her character in the game. As far as the story goes, it follows the games to a degree. And it's really just about, these people who are left in Raccoon City after the Umbrella Corporation has kind of moved out, taken a lot of the jobs with them. Everyone's left. And, of course, this, zombie outbreak happens in town. So the problem with this movie is that, okay, not a lot happens in the first 45 minutes, and the character development is really weak, super weak. I didn't care about absolutely anybody by the time we got to the place in the film where we're supposed to be caring about people. And I remember we watched this, and then we followed this up shortly after with a movie.
Yeah.
And it was oh my God, so much has happened in 10 minutes. Already, we're 10 minutes, 15 minutes into this movie, and already more has happened in this movie than has happened in the entire runtime of Resident Evil. Which was just blowing my mind. And the character development was excellent. It was underwater.
Yeah,
with
right.
Kristen Stewart.
It was.
And I was like, man, I already know. I already feel like I know some of these characters.
Yes.
I already care about some of these characters, and so much has happened.
Yes.
Yeah,
it was vastly different than how we felt when we were watching Resident Evil. And I mean, it's for the first game, or for the first movie to be, restarting the franchise and trying to delve into what the games go into, I think that it's probably expected for there to be a bit of exposition. And it's weird because it's there is action happening, there's things going on in the movie, but like you said, the characters we didn't really connect with.
No.
In the way that I think we probably should have been able to. Especially, for something that is supposed to be a franchise, and, presumably they'll be coming back and things will be playing into later films.
To give you an idea of how not into this film we were, it's been about 10 days since we watched it.
Yeah.
And it's been everything I can do to talk Haley into doing a review. She's like, I don't have anything to say. I don't really care.
I don't. I walked away with, a pretty, meh feeling about it. Yeah. I don't think that it's a horrible film. No. And having not played the first games, I don't know, you were noticing things from the games that you're
sure.
Oh, that's cool. That's from the game. But I know that some of the locations where it was kind of mixed between the first and the second, or so, none of that, bothered me, but, yeah, I don't know. I just wasn't as into it as I thought I was going to be. I thought that the design on the zombies or the infected, I'm not sure what they're called, if there's a name for them. But they looked fine. There's definitely some creepy moments with them. But then there was one character that I thought was going to be really important, that they kind of blow off a few times, but she keeps coming back. So I don't know. It didn't impact me a lot.
I don't like how they handled Leon, for sure. I felt like Leon was a little bitch in this movie and was treated as such. In the games, he's the rookie. It's his first day on the job, but it's they're all treating him like shit. And they're all just hey, rookie, get the fuck out of here. And hey, rookie, you don't know how to fucking use a gun. And he didn't. Like,
No.
he was super incompetent.
Yeah.
And that's just not Leon to me. But that's fine. I don't care. Because I'm not a huge Resident Evil fanatic or anything. So, like, if that's his character trait that they're going with. Now, do I think it should line up with the games? Probably. Like, especially since your target audience is probably going to be fans of the games who want to come and see you do justice to the source material. Mm-hmm. So if you drastically change a character and you don't really give any good reasoning for it, it doesn't really work. But I have friends who are huge Resident Evil fans, and some of them love this movie and some of them fucking hate this movie. Now the person I know who loves the Resident Evil games and loves this movie, him and I do not see eye to eye on stuff a lot. Mm-hmm. So this is of no surprise to me that I wasn't a big fan of this one. I hope maybe after replaying all of the games and throwing this on, it'll be cool. There's some cool visuals. There's this chick in like a face mask. Mm-hmm. That thing was cool looking. There was some questions with her for sure that I was like, well, why?
Yeah, that was the character I was referencing where I felt like she kind of got pushed to the side, and it seemed like she was going to be a much more important character for the screen time that she got, but maybe there's plans for her to be in additional films. I definitely want to play the games to have, more context for what's happening, although I don't think, having not played the games, I think that the plot does make sense. Like, I think you can watch the movie without knowing anything about
Absolutely.
the games and still, walk away and have an understanding of what's going on.
Not really any plot.
Right.
Well,
that's what I mean. It's exposition-y in some ways, and just very simple, basic plot for the rest of it.
There's a corporation that develops the G virus, and they use it on people, and they turn into zombies, and it overruns the town that's on the way out.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the whole movie. Mm-hmm. And there's just people that are trying to figure that out, and they're walking around the town, and there's like a bad guy set up who turns into the bad guy in the last like couple minutes. Mm-hmm. And then, that's problems solved pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And then the movie just ends. And I was like, that's the end?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Nothing happened.
Yes.
Like, I was really just kind of like, wow, that was the whole movie, huh? Like, everything's just very lackluster in this movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they go somewhere and you think something's going to happen, and then it happens, but it happens so lackadaisically.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, well, there it is. Okay, it's over.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the liquor. Okay, interesting. Oh, that was the death of that guy. Okay. Mm-hmm. Like, I thought his death was going to be more interesting. Mm-hmm. It was going to be more climatic. That was going to be more cathartic. It was going to be more sad.
Sure.
Like, if anyone dies in the movie, you don't care.
No, I didn't care at all. When people
There's a guy in a prison cell that dies, and you're like, okay.
He was maybe the one that I liked the most.
For no reason.
For no real reason other than
for no real reason.
Was, like, kind of quirky, and I was like, oh, okay, like, I don't know, just, yeah, he was like a character I was sort of interested in, and then he died, and I was like, oh, dang. Okay.
Yeah, you were interested in the potential.
Right.
Of what it could become.
Yes, exactly.
But not that he actually ever achieved that status.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's this whole movie.
Right.
It's just like, okay, that could be cool. Oh, nope, it's not cool. That could go somewhere. Nope, it didn't go anywhere.
Also, there wasn't a single raccoon in this whole movie.
Nope.
So, like...
Fucking
I
false
feel like
advertising.
Very false advertising.
Yeah, we're all the damn raccoons.
Lame.
Super lame. Super lame. Now, I don't know, man. It's just, it's a super underwhelming movie that I have no interest in seeing a sequel from. And that's such a shame. Because I just feel like this is a franchise ripe with potential for a film franchise. And of course, and hey, say what you will. And this does not speak to quality. Okay, I already had to get into a discussion about this with somebody who's like, well, that doesn't speak to quality. And I'm like, that's not what I was fucking saying, idiot. But anyway, say what you will about this movie. Now, granted, it was released during a pandemic, and that's going to hurt it for sure. But if you look at the numbers, box office-wise, for the Paul W.S. Anderson movies, Like, go somewhere and look at the box office for those movies. Especially the later ones. The later ones killed. They were making $200-300 million. It was crazy. They were making tons of money. And then you go to this one. Every one of them made over $100 million to $300 million. Every one of them. This one made like 30 or something less, maybe. It made nothing. It made nothing. So, say what you want about the Mila Jovovich freaking Paul W.S. Anderson movies. They made bank. This movie where they tried to appeal to the fans and make it more like the games, nobody gave a shit. Nobody went and saw it. But it's probably the pandemic, as I said. But
it definitely influenced
Spider-Man made $1 billion fucking dollars.
Yeah, I mean, people
during the pandemic.
Yeah, turn out for the stuff that they're excited about and feel.
And going, by the way, that's like after a week. This thing will probably make fucking $1.5 billion, $2 billion. So if you make a property that people want to see,
they'll come and see it.
And you got a trailer, if you got a property, I don't know. I don't know if Resident Evil, maybe they just got burnt out and they were like, well, I liked that other franchise. Why reboot it? I'm done with it. Because it was so quickly after the final chapter of Resident Evil. It wasn't even that long ago. Like 5-7 years ago. 5? It was very short amount of time. And then I had a friend, Alex, that I used to work with at Tony and Guy, and he went and saw like the 4th one or the 5th one, or so. It was the 4th one, I want to say. And he came out of it and he was like, that was the greatest movie I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, Resident Evil 4 is the greatest movie you've ever seen in your entire life. How many movies have you watched?
2.
Yeah. But whatever. I'm happy for him. This one. Damn, this one bummed me out. I was really excited for this one. I didn't go to see this in the theaters, by the way, because of the pandemic. Because it's hard to get out nowadays.
It is.
So, it is what it is. But, man, this review went way longer than it needed to. We're just going to fucking start it over, do it like in 2 minutes. And be done with it. But, yeah, everything's lackluster in this for us. Oh, well. Well, anyways, what'd you guys think? Are you big Resident Evil fans? Have you played the games? What'd you think of this movie? What'd you think of the Paul W.S. Anderson franchise? What's your favorite game in the franchise? What are you looking forward to us talking about most when we play through them? All that good stuff. Let us know. Bye!